I think it's very rightly covered by Yogendra ji. There's not much to say about privacy and security. It's absolutely fine. One side is I mean, it's security you're talking about that. Uh, um, uh, One is that whether I get, I have a privacy aspect, whether I want to share my data and all. The other side of it, that yes, you have shared your data for getting necessary services which are required for them to share it. But one has to take care about the security aspect, and which is not at my hand. That is at the hand of the one who's handling your data, one who's a data fiduciary. So security one has to maintain, because in this world you cannot expect that you would not part with your information for anything and everything, including financials, including your bank statements, opening a bank account to getting to getting to Zomato, to a hospital breach has happened. I mean, the kind of data, you can't say that I would not share things. You have to share things, and in order to share reasonable things which are required in nexus with the kind of services you're asking, it's very much required for them to have security practices in a proper manner. And in the absence of those security practices, you would attract heavy penalties in case you have existence in any other country, including India. India is very specific as of now to sensitive data, but in future, yes. Over to you.
Over to Mansoor.
All right. Yeah. So Yogendra ji, okay, so like 19 years experience thing. Have you anytime faced any kind of case, any kind of incidents or something about data privacy breaches?
So not per se the data privacy breaches, but yes, in our during this career journey, we have been encounter a lot of cases where I mean, I will not name those cases because something is related to some of the financial institution. But yes, we used to get such cases, and we used to help an organization to identify and fix those. So not only that, but sometimes what happened, the incident which happened in the organization, and then we help them to really identify what happened and how this happened, and then fix those issues. So I mean, a lot of issues we have been encountered during this period. But yes, what we identify in most of the cases, sometimes it's a lack of the user awareness, because around 80% cases which has been encountered, that is just because of the user awareness which happened in the organization.
Right. Over to you, Khushbu. So, do you have any case studies? I bet you do. So,
yeah, I do have. I mean, case studies with me.
You do have one, so just go ahead. Yeah, tell me. Yes, go ahead, Yogen. Tell us.
So, the case study, there are a lot of case study. I mean, it would not be good to name those organizations in front of the live session. But yes, I mean, we all know nowadays there are a lot of attacks which is happening in the organizations, right? So, and when you investigate those such cases, you identify or you read the case study, it happens just because of the user awareness. Because sometimes people forget to remove their personal. I mean, they might be using some personal. So let me give you an interesting case study. So which I encountered 2 years ago. It was a bank in US. So one person was accessing their critical server from their home. So how he did, he was taking the remote control, and there were a lot of vulnerable ports which were open on the firewall. He was the administrator of the firewall as well, and the attacker identified those ports, and then there's a huge data breach which happened. So that is again because the person was very technically sound, capable, but just because of his, I would say the careless or not following the proper process in the organization, that breach happened, which caused a lot of damage to the organization as well, and a lot of financial penalty from the US government. So I would not name that organization, but yes, I was involved in solving that case at that particular time.
All right. Yeah, Khushbu, over to you.
No, so let's not talk about the personal case study, but let's talk about some amazing cases that has happened, or one of the biggest breaches that has happened, or interesting one. So to name the one which is already in newspapers for everybody to have a look and to read about it. Some fun thing to read about is that Heathrow Airport operator was fined for a data breach. Now, this was in somewhere around 2017-18. Now, how this happened? Okay, there was newspaper articles which was been looked by the agency, the authority, and they looked into it and they said, oh shit, one has to fine it. So 1,20,000 euros fine was being, imposed on Heathrow Airport. Now, why that was imposed? One, there was one unencrypted USB memory stick which was being found by one of the passengers or one of the person. Now this stick belonged to one of the airport employee, Heathrow Airport employee. Now that stick contained 76 folders which had more than 1,000 files. Now those 1,000 files were not at all encrypted with password or anything, nothing, not even a basic level of encryption. Now the person who found saw the entire thing and looked into and gave it to a local newspaper, which was Sunday Mirror, and then that data was being put into that, and how that was being. Now what was there in that 1,000 files was the Queen entire traveling and who are the security and all those extremely confidential details that one can actually have access to that, and it becomes it can stir details. In seconds, one can formulate everything, entire process of who will be the person who have to attack. For cyber criminals, it's like a field day. So this was being out there, and then after that, and they didn't breach. About the breach, they did not say anything. That was from the newspaper that they got to know, and then authorities imposed fine on them. Now after that, there was some survey which was being done at the airport, and it was being found that out of entire, like let's say, if a ratio from 10 to 0 to 10 is there, it's just 2% level of security is what the entire security or entire employees of the Heathrow Airport had in terms of what compliance one has to have with regard to the laws. This one of that. And if you want to continue, kind of breaches that has happened, I can give you we can go on from latest to latest, which has been. Okay, let's pick up the one which has been happened, which was almost yesterday, which was data breach with regard to one of the mutual funds that it was a mortgage company which had which was required to have certain level of security, and it did not, and it had a fine for almost. It's a very heavy fine. Then we have, biggest of biggest breaches. If I just read about those breaches, then Home Depot was involved in one of the largest data breaches involving point of sale system. Now this fine was almost $200 million, which was comparatively as less, and this was little early in 2014. One can think of about Uber. Uber has got twice or thrice it has been imposed, penalties of breaches, which has been ranging from $148 million to so on and so forth. Then we had Uber, we had Morgan Stanley, which was fined. Then we had latest, I think, Equifax in 2018 or 19, which was fined with the highest breach. Marriott was fined with the breach. So there has been breach all over around the world. British Airways was fined twice or thrice with regard to $26.2 million in somewhere around. I don't recollect the period, but it was fined again. So yes, Marriott was $23.7 million initially, and then later it was fined again for second portion of it, which I don't remember how much. Tesco Bank was fined. So yeah, it's on and on and on, and let's hope that with this fines they increase the security level and our data, which is our right to privacy, and our data in general, so that we don't fall prey to we are not victim to the crimes that happen because of having access to your data. We are safeguarded with that portion of it.
All right. Thank you, Khushbu, and thank you again. All right, Ankita, on to you.
Great, insightful knowledge, Khushbu. So my question to Yogendra will be, what are the data protection and privacy issues that our country is facing?
So in terms of the data privacy issue which are there, so first of all, the strict law which needs to be there. We have seen the data protection law in Europe, which has been passed, and they are strictly following it. So the organization who are doing in business in Europe, they need to follow the data protection law. If we talk about a similar law is passed by US also after the GDPR. Even as Khushbu mentioned, Google and Facebook is also fined under the GDPR regulation. As far as comes to our country, which is India, which is very diverse country, and though the data protection law is passed, but the implementation is still not being done in the country. Neither we have a direct a timeline or a deadline to implement it in India. There will be challenges, of course, because the organization, when you come to the data protection and the privacy, you need to invest a lot of in your infrastructure, and there will be a lot of overburden to the organization who who needs to implement those controls. So let's take an example for the telecom companies, right? They have your company data, and that is being used. Even though the financial institution, where RBI putting a lot of guidelines and regulations, so banking are following that privacy to the data. But in terms of telecom and other entity or small player organization, because they need to invest in their infrastructure, and the culture needs to be built, because here we are talking about the culture, right? And India is a very diverse country, so it is going to take a lot of challenge, a lot of muscle pass, a lot of time to implement in India. Once again.
Well, Modi is here, he'll do everything.
He is one man, but getting things done is going to take some time.
Yeah. So same question for you, Khushbu. What are the data protection and privacy issues that our country is facing?
Yeah. So I'll just correct one part, that data protection bill is yet not passed. It's yet not a law. We don't have any such data protection bill converted into an act. One. Now, to start with, what are the challenges we would face? There would be a lot of challenges because we as country have never thought about, our businesses. We are still in that startup phase, not exactly startup as in startup definition, but we as an thought process as a businesses have a lot of orientation towards getting the businesses being established. So this creates another layer or another vertical in itself, which one has to, any businesses starting, even at the start in nascent age, and the mid-sized businesses, SMSC, MSC, and small scale and medium scale, and at the same time all the established businesses, everybody has to look into the aspect of having one strong vertical and also taking care of entire part of security, and as a good investment to look into, apart from having establishment in businesses, whereas marketing or whereas your product is concerned, or whereas your services are concerned. So that's one side of heavy which will come on businesses. But if you look into the high side, it is very much required. So that would be one portion where people will face issues. And I would say that GDPR compliant, there are a lot of entities in India who have businesses abroad. Who have presence in Europe, and they have been in compliance with GDPR. Why not be compliant, get with GDPR? You might have a little more extra things to do or something, but start, there are basic things to start with. If you're on hardware, keep those principles, privacy principles, while at the time of building it. If you're in the part of let's say application and all those things, have those 9 principles in place, the basic 9 principles which are being accepted by the entire world, privacy principles. So have those 9 principles in place, abide by all of it. This is the first basic layer of it, hardware of it. Then third comes into the part that security. Take care, have your security in place. Look into the loopholes about the part of third party sharing of data. What are the liabilities of the third party, whether your contracts, your internal agreements with those parties are concerned, because a lot of breaches happen because of sharing your data with another third party. In that loop is where breach happens. But then in case you as an entity would not be able to showcase or proof that breach has not happened at your level, or breach has not happened because of your fault, burden of proof is on you. So if you're not able to prove that beyond that doubt that you had entire reasonable security measures in place, and after that has happened, then you're actually attracting a lot of penalties in which might come in against you. It's not just penalty. It's about trust of people. It's about credibility in the market. It's about if your business goes standstill. Nowadays, these cyber criminals have also become very smart. They know that data is very important. Crucial data is very important, and all of us have heard. I think Yogendra ji and Amirr ji would agree with me that all of us have been taught that once these attacks happen, they encrypt your data, or they don't give access to your data. So now all businesses usually make another copy of it so that business doesn't go standstill. These people have become smart. What they do is they threat you that if you don't pay this much amount, we're gonna share critical sensitive data of your clients. It has been investment banks, it has been law firms, it has been huge entities which had hospitals which had good data, and so on and so forth. So these are the kind of crimes that happen. So you can't think of today, you have to think of tomorrow and start your measures in place, which India has to start right now with small entities. Everybody has to look into that aspect. You cannot be you cannot escape from it. I mean, it's difficult to escape from cyber attack. What you need to have is a entire process and security in place for you to not damage your ongoing business. And yes, I'm hoping that data protection will very soon comes in place so that entities understand that what exactly are the things one has to, but one still can look into other aspect and have the stringent one in place and start incorporating it, and so that it becomes easy for you to transform. It's not all of a sudden as a burden. Over to you.
Thank you, Khushbu, for that. Mansoor, would you like to add on something?
Yeah. Okay, so to both of you all, so our team and we were all actually discussing about like how should we take this thing forward, for the data privacy thing. So all of them actually had one question what they had asked me to ask all of you. So what was the whole fuss about WhatsApp and Facebook? Like, what is the thing with the data privacy? So any one of you all can just explain that to us.
All right. So I would comment not much about that, but that was very purely that their entire basis was that it's completely encrypted and we are not going to use your data. You have an ownership to your data. Even we don't have access. So there have been cases which have been filed in Delhi High Court and other places where Facebook has taken very strong view, including WhatsApp, that we can't look into those chats. So how do we share with you? That's the stand that was taken by these entities in court. They went on replying to our law enforcement agencies, to our government when it comes to law and order situation, law and order situation, or at the level of sovereignty is where they reply that no, our users' privacy is paramount. We would not look, we don't have access only to users' information. Then all of a sudden now you see business. So now I signed up on the part to WhatsApp that, okay, you make me used to of it. That's not legal side I'm talking about. That's a moral side of it. That you made me used to of your system. You made me believe into it. Now that I'm all of us are on that platform and we are so, your businesses have come into it. You've got WhatsApp business. You've got normal way of lifestyle where you're dependent on that technology. Now you all of a sudden change your policy and say that I'm going to do it for my businesses with my third party, and you don't tell me which third party you're going to share with. So that's completely, one-sided contract. You're not giving me an option, and at the same time you say that by this you have to abide by it. You have to share. I mean, how would you have my data like this and access, and and your policy has been like that? I'll restrict myself to that.
Yogendra ji, would you like to add to that?
So of course the Facebook and WhatsApp, as they conveniently said in the Supreme Court that they don't have access to data, but that is not the truth. Suppose I'm owning an application which is being used on the public platform. Whether the data is encrypted, I do have very much access to those data. And there were cases where the chat were relieved. And of course the law enforcement agency in India have access to those platforms. They can monitor, they can check, and they can track you down. Suppose if I am meeting with one of the government office, they might have the complete access through just my mobile number, that what all offices I have visited. And I have seen that system in place. where the courts are also connected, which is the project is under Home Ministry, where all the cases you can see on one system. I have witnessed that. So in terms of the Facebook and WhatsApp, yes. First of all, when you are sharing your personal data on those platforms, it means it is and it is not your personal data, because you are sharing it. If something which is very common, very personal, very personal to you, should not share on those platforms. And of course, the data has been used, and they are using for their own business purpose. But government are putting a lot of restriction. But there's a way to go. We are not sure. How soon those restrictions can be put in India. But yes, the data has been misused. And suppose something coming free to you, it means that you are the business for that particular entity, because nothing comes free. So there's no free lunch, right?
Very true.
That's very true on that. Yeah, Ankita.
So Yogendra, can you suggest some of the websites or any of the books that we can learn data privacy from?
So there are a lot of websites, and even courses are available for data privacy. I can send you some of the link. So I really don't remember those links as of now, but yes, I can share it with where you can go online and you can read about the data privacy and can learn about it.
Sure, that would be helpful. Khushbu, do you remember any of the websites or books?
For me, start reading about the basic laws which exist in your India. I mean, it's a very plain, simple reading. Read the regulations here, read the regulations around the globe. What are the basis or genesis of coming with that policy? Apart from that, keep continuing on the tab, that kind of attacks that are happening, kind of modus operandi those are happening, what kind of privacy breaches are happening around the world. Keep on reading about it. I mean, it's nothing that you can read it from basic book and think of, oh, I know. I mean, it's such an evolving subject which we're talking about, cyber privacy kind of things happening today. The kind of crime happened tomorrow, there would have 10 more additions to it. So you practically can't have, I mean, to start with, yes, you can have few basic privacy things to read about, but I would say it's an evolving stage, and you have to keep on updating yourself to continue and keep on reading. Don't go with specific book goes, type about breach, type about breach plus privacy, go on news, read about that, go on different platforms, read about those things, and keep on adding to your knowledge base. You'll understand one case, you will read the law, you will read the policy, you will read the kind of crime that had happened, what exactly happened in that, how it happened. So that's how you enrich your part. That's my way of doing it. Rest, I think, yes, you can always opt for normal courses.
Exactly. This is really an evolving topic. Like every day something new happens, so we cannot read that from any that. So okay, it was all those techie questions. Now we want to touch up something personal aspects. So Mansoor, would you like to ask something?
Yes. So Khushbu, this is like something about your journey from school to lawyer. What's the story behind it?
No story. So it's a very basic, simple, plain story. I don't have anything to, any juicy stuff to add into it or any of those things. A normal schooling. I come from a business class family. As I said, I was heavy into newspapers, reading stuff here and there. So yeah, I mean, somehow had an inclination towards this side of it. So after 12th, 5 years law, did good amount of internships and seminars during the entire course of 5 years of law, from every stream, right from patent, trademark to corporate to criminal law to constitutional law in Supreme Court. So did almost all variety of internships to understand what exactly, because law itself is a very wide thing. You can't think of chalo lawyer hai to bhi. And yeah, since then practicing, and here we are.
Yogendra, what is your journey? We would like to hear.
Yeah, so my journey was very interesting. In fact, I have started as a network engineer, and during the course of journey, I used to work with Wipro, HP, Accenture for quite a long time, and then started with Gujarat Gas, and then started my own company. So it's been 7 years now, where we have been in this journey where meeting with customers and making sure they have the right kind of technology and which we can help them to implement it in the organization, and also identify the gaps which are there. We recently, in parallel with the Startup India, and we also in parallel with certain, we are just waiting for the final confirmation from them. We have cleared all the round. Uh, in fact, we are also working in IoT automation, because now the Industry 4.0 and industrial automation is one thing where every organization are focusing. So we have developed our own IoT automation application, which we are working with one of the big giant in India, where they are also taking our application to their customer. So these are the two areas where we are working. We also work with a lot of government projects like a smart city, safe city. We also bid for safe city projects, and hoping to. Recently we bid for Ahmedabad safe city. So let's see what happened. But it was a quite interesting journey, and during this period I learned a lot. It's a hard learning, basically. But yes, one thing I would say, if you are determined and you wanted to achieve something, there's nothing which can stop you.
Yeah,
So if you
exactly.
have self-confidence and positive energy towards your work, you can reach any dimension.
Great, great. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Yogendra ji, adding on to that, so as a career, was it a deliberate choice, or there were some other circumstances that forced you into the career, or you went by choice?
I would say I have not. From when I started my company, it was not my dream that I will turn into the entrepreneurship. But yes, I think destiny is being decided. So I started this company, and then I started getting the projects, and then I thought this is the better way. Instead of just earning for an organization, it's better to start your own setup. And since then, I've not looked back. There were ups and downs in any business, yes, during the COVID time also. But yes, still we are here and we are trying to survive. But yes, there are opportunities in the market, and if you are determined and you are honest with your customer, the business will come to you.
Great. Khushbu, how did you get into this field? Was it a deliberate choice, or there was something that you chose from the childhood only?
Which field? You're talking about law, you're talking about cyber.
Cyber law.
So I couldn't think from childhood. There was nothing called as cyber at that time that we were aware about. and no, it was not a deliberate thing, or it was not an informed thing. So I do a lot of corporate work. Corporate crimes were part of it, and nowadays nothing goes without a cyber or information technology kind of crime being linked to any of the things which you're doing it. So there's always a tiny portion of it, and it started with that and continued. So it became like a proper entry. Not that properly I haven't done any course, frankly speaking, on cyber or anything, and there are none. It's the reality which makes you understand. You might do a lot of training courses to learn, but yes, mine has been more from the practical side of it, that it kept on adding to a lot of cases, and you keep on understanding all kind of cases, all kind, literally, right from romance scam to a bank fraud to a SIM swap fraud to a digital thing to privacy. Right to privacy was one where I was part of. Aadhaar I was a tiny portion of Aadhaar too in Supreme Court. So yes, it has been like a gradual, addition to it, and I think everybody would be facing it now. I mean, the kind of world we are now in.
Great.
Right. Okay, so Khushbu, I would like to add on to that. So from the law firm, when you started the law and everything on that, what was the fear that actually you worked on? The thing
Nothing.
Okay, you don't fear of anything.
Not at all. Not at all. So it's not like old, that people have thought about, oh, law hai, so, it should be like this, or women in law, or things like that, or how you would establish. I mean, I feel it's absolutely fine if you have a vision, if you have a clarity about things to do. It's absolutely fine. It's as secure as any other profession you can think about. Being an engineer, go to a company to have your job after college. It's the same thing. Whereas law is concerned, a slight distinction between corporate and getting into litigation per se on your own. Corporate is same as any other corporate job, which all the MBAs or engineers or other people get it. Practice makes it a little difficult for you initially to get clients, to get to establish yourself, because it's all about trust. You would not give your case instantly to somebody who's not aware. So start with the juniorship and go on with that. But I think it's absolutely secure. I mean, I have not faced anything that it's a women thing or insecurity or any of those things. I mean, touch wood, and I've not seen others around also to face any of those things. It's absolutely secure. The environment is amazing. I think way better than any other places I would have seen around.
All right. Okay, Yogendra ji, when you were starting your company and everything, what was your biggest fear that you went through?
So my biggest fear was that end of the month I'm not gonna get the paycheck. So I need
you should
to
have contacted us. You should have lawyer friends.
Right.
You start with confidence.
So, but yes, that was the fear. But when you started and when you started the journey, and with your knowledge, you are getting the positive response from the customers. That makes you that yes, and as I mentioned earlier also, if you have the right and honest positive attitude, I mean, you can get anything. So you need to have the confidence in you, and the positive attitude towards whatever you are doing, and you need to be passionate about it. So you will get the business, you will get the customer, and they will come to you. That's what I believe.
Right. I think Amirr is also having some questions waiting for him side. He looks excited. Over to you, Amirr.
So one question to banta hai mere liye. So for both of, I'll start with Khushbu. What was a passion which brought you into this field of IT, technology, and cyber?
Okay, passion. So with, as I said rightly, with that corporate came a lot of cyber thing, and understanding about this is like really low among people. So one was the kind of frauds that were happening, which were touching everyday life of people, and they were not understanding that they are victim to it. So it was not more of a business call that you'll get money out of it, but it was more of that it's touching people's life. When those crimes happen against human crimes, and it touches, it's devastating. So that side of portion, I was like, you help people in that side. So that was one. The second aspect, that every cases you are part of, there is a teeny tiny portion of, having a better access to cyber and to IT. You might have more layers of it to add, and to get favorable orders. And apart from that, I think it's about technology, that when you're born with, you're with technology, you're going ahead. So you're aware about those things, that how amazing these technologies would be. So with adoption of technology, you understand the vulnerabilities, and why not make people aware about it. So I think that's one side of it, that listening people being victim of, bank fraud, of digital, this thing of romance scam, of too many other things. When things happen to, when crime happen against humans, it's little this thing, it's a little thing that you want to part files one not. Am I audible?
Yeah.
So you wanna make people aware. You don't want such things to happen. So that's how it got driven, that I got into a little bit of training, giving a lot of talks on crime against women and children, talking to a lot of school children to tell them, be aware about that, what do's or don'ts. And you practically cannot stop kids. Like the first thing which parents do if anything happens is stop. No more internet for you, no more phone for you, nothing for you. You can't stop this age to do that. So make them understand that you need to learn how to drive. You need to understand the rules if you get the car. You can't just stop that car. Accidents hote, so we should not have car ever in the world. Learn. When you want to drive, you need to understand the laws. You need to know the norms. You need to know what are the way that system works, and then be part of it. So yeah, I mean that's about it. I mean I've had extensive training sessions been given to children. It has been amazing to tell them that how you should be and who has a right. And even if you share your pictures, you have a right. You're the owner. Do not share pictures. If you share it, delete it. Do this, do that. So so on and so forth.
So Yogendra ji, over to you. What inspires you to be in this field, and who's your role model?
So, in terms of adopting this IT field, I think one thing which I would like to disclose here, I never learned computer in any of the institutes. So neither I have taken any professional training for any of the work which I have done. So it is by, I mean, I have done a lot of certification, but that is again how you learn and how you clear those exams. In terms of when I started into this IT field, I was very amazed to know more about the computer. So as I said, I started as a network engineer. So my first job was in, I think, 2002. And I was very excited. During that period, I was very keen to learn a lot of things. I mean, I used to work 18 hours per day to learn how the computer needs to be operated, how new things needs to be done. So it was very interesting since then. And then I moved to the cybersecurity. And when I moved to the cybersecurity, I've seen the challenges which are there, and I try to solve those issues within the organization. So it was very interesting, and I love that work which I'm doing till now. So it was my passion which took me to that area. In terms of the role model, so in my initial stage, I read a lot about Swami Vivekananda. So I mean, he always gave me that passion and inspiration towards whatever we are doing. Let's do on that on the in the right note and with the positive energy. So yes, the Swami Vivekananda was my role model, I would say.
Oh, that's great. That's great, Yogendra. So I have already understood what you said, that there are many challenges that you have been facing in your career, and how did you overcome that? Would you like to throw a light on that?
Yeah, so challenges, see, what I feel, the challenges are part of life, right? And when you face the challenges, it make you strong. So if you are taking the challenges, and see, there are two kind of people. One is afraid of the challenges, and second, who can take the challenges. When you take the challenges, it give you the positive energy and towards taking care of all the issues which are there. So it motivates you also. So I mean, and what I feel, that people should feel the challenges in their life, then only they can become strong. Because if I have not seen the challenges in my career, or maybe I would have the better education or better support, I would be the different person. I might not be at this particular stage, because I know a lot of people who are doing good in their job, but still they are working. They are stick to 9 to 6 job, but they have the potential which they can do better, but they're not ready to take the risk. So if you're taking risk and you are facing the challenges and you have the confidence in you, and of course you can overcome any of the challenges which are there.
Exactly, very true. Rome was never built in a day. So
Right.
any day we have to take up the challenges in our life and overcome that. Khushbu, would you like to say something?
I mean, I think it's a fair enough that yes, one has to take challenges, one has to understand their life, make choices, and then live with those choices, understand the consequences, and take your call. It's absolutely fine to do that. So never be afraid of making choices. Make choices. Be aware about the consequences, and go ahead.
Right.
I mean, I do not abide with the basic norms of of the world, but be aware about the path that if you do not abide with it, then be aware of what the consequences, calculate it, and go ahead. Nothing stops you. If you have it in your mind, nothing stops you.
Yeah.
Just think about it and start working on it. Nothing in the world stops you.
All right. Okay, so we are actually running a bit low on time. So this is the last question for both of you. So first, Khushbu. Okay, so if someone wants to get into like cyber law, what are the things that he or she has to keep in mind?
Okay, one is that there's a normal law which you do 3 years, 5 years. There's nothing called a specific part of it.
Okay.
A lot of universities might have some portion of it where you can choose, or universities have started incorporating cyber law or IT law as subject. At my time, we did not have that. One, now what you should do, as I said, read about it, keep on learning about it. There are a lot of trainings that happen online in different areas, OSINT, in law, in technology. Understand all those things. You cannot not just know about technology and talk about law, because it's a synchronization of technology, law, and other things, and how you bring it together, water it down, and fit into your case or other things around. So you cannot just be aware about law and not understand the technology. You will not be able to relate. So be aware about both the sides. Keep on reading, specific journals, specific news articles related to IT, related to security in India, abroad. Follow Bellingcat to learn about open source intelligence. A lot can be done from open source intelligence. You need to be aware about it for you to apply your brain in your normal cases day to day and understand how things happen and what thing can happen. Privacy is one small aspect of cyber side of it, which one can learn and understand. And new verticals are opening. If new policy, new data protection bill comes in place, they might need specific areas and special specialization in the privacy law, and that's another vertical lawyers can look into or students can look into to get into. OTTs, new guidelines which are coming for intermediaries, though they also need a lot of things. So these are all areas related to these lines. So start working, start reading. You need to be really updated. Every night new things come up. Keep reading, and go ahead.
Yogendra ji,
there are few certifications on financial crimes. There are few certifications done by given by a lot of institutes. Keep on having certifications for you to understand and learn. There is no harm in having certifications, not just for your CV, but a certification for you to be, to understand how things happen and what are the things around. Over to you.
All right. Thank you, Khushbu. Yogendra ji, what will be your take on it if someone wants to become like a cybersecurity expert?
So in cybersecurity, there are a lot of things. I mean, first, I mean, there are a lot of courses which can be done to start the basics, and then move ahead with the right organization. So if you want to move the cybersecurity itself have multiple verticals. So the one has to decide where he wanted to move, he or she wanted to move. Then search for the opportunity. And once you get that opportunity, I mean, there are basic certification which can be done to achieve and get an entry into any of the organization, and then start your career with that. So, but one thing again, keep reading, as Khushbu said, because there are a lot of information, and every day a lot of things are changing. So keep yourself updated and make sure you have good knowledge on that particular technology, and then move ahead with your career.
All right. Well, thank you to you both for this very insightful insights about all this on data privacy. Hand it over to you, Amirr ji.
Yeah. So we're coming to the end of the session. We'll propose a vote of thanks. So I'd like to thank both the speakers, Khushbu Jain and Yogendra Rajput, for the wonderful session. Both are experts in their field and have shared good insights on data privacy. What is it and how do we safeguard ourselves and our companies? There were a lot of learning and sharings in this 1 hour, and we would continue this journey in another session. I'd like to thank Lions Club of Mumbai Shining and our technology partner, Prime Infotech Solution, community partner, My Tax Guru, gifting partner, Synergy, and last not the least, my co-host, Mansoor and Ankita, and to all our viewers who came for this coffee conversation. A big thank you, and let's take up a picture with the coffee mugs if we have already. So Subhash or Roshni?
I don't have the coffee mug at my table. Thank you so much.
Ankita, your cup or Mansoor?
Okay, okay. For the ones who don't have cup, we'll just put a thumbs up that way. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll do that.
Done? Team done? Roshni? Subhash, done picture?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So stay
Thank
safe,
you.
stay connected, and
Sure.
All
keep
right.
in touch.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
all.
Thank you. It's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
interacting with you all.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.